If you are a singer, there is a very good chance that at some point in your singing life, perfectionism has touched your voice and touched your singing. And I don't mean the obvious, oh, I need to sing everything perfectly kind of perfectionism. I'm talking about the sneaky, well, this just feels like the responsible thing to do kind of perfectionism that disguises itself as helping, but is really just another sneaky form of perfectionism. If you don't know who I am already, my name is Veronica Kokos. I am a holistic voice teacher who believes that there are no wrong notes when it comes to singing, just play, exploration, and expressing ourselves through our voices. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 sneaky ways in which perfectionism shows up in our singing. The 3 sneaky ways in which these things might be holding back your singing. They might be causing excess tension. They may be holding you back from your most free, expressive voice. The first way in which perfectionism shows up in singing is through over-controlling the vocal technique. This one hides behind the belief, well, I just want to make sure that I'm singing with good technique. And when perfectionism shows up in this way, you're constantly thinking about every aspect of your technique. You're constantly thinking about your breath, where your voice is resonating, how clearly your voice is coming out. You're thinking about all these things all the time, all at once, that it's getting in the way of you being your most expressive self. And from the outside, you look disciplined. You look like a thoughtful singer who is being mindful when it comes to their vocal technique. But on the inside, your nervous system is braced for what could go wrong. Perfectionism tells you, if I can just control this one thing, I will be safe. But singing is not a spreadsheet. It is coordination. And when we stop trusting our body and trusting our voice, we lose our flow as singers. And it becomes a lot less fun. Something you can do to reframe this is to think of your technique, to think of your skills as a singer, as a way to support your expression, to support your creativity, not to replace those things. Sometimes the best thing that you can do for your singing is to let that one thing be messy on purpose. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay if your technique is not 100% perfect 100% of the time. You are a human, not a machine. The second way that perfectionism shows up in a really sneaky way is in waiting to feel ready to share your voice. Perfectionism loves a moving goalpost, and I cannot tell you how many times I've heard from students in lessons say things like, well, things are feeling great in my voice and I'm feeling good about how it sounds in the lesson, but I want to wait until this song just has that one thing before I can sing for other people. With these students, they came to me for lessons because they wanted to sing for friends and family. They wanted to have fun with their voice, with their creativity. And the goalpost just kept moving and moving and moving. They would say, well, once I have this clearer tone, or once my belt feels stronger, then I'll feel ready to sing in front of others. And while there is nothing wrong with wanting to set high standards for yourself, to set standards for yourself in general, I think if you're constantly moving the goalposts when it comes to your singing, that in and of itself is a form of protection. You're trying to protect yourself from something, whether it is being vulnerable in front of other people, whether it's trying to protect yourself from criticism, whether it's trying to protect yourself from making mistakes. Your nervous system, your body, your mind learned that being seen, putting yourself out there wasn't safe. And so now it's showing up in this kind of protective mechanism. But here's the truth. We don't gain confidence in our singing through isolating ourselves. We gain confidence through experience. And sometimes experiences can be messy. You may get up in front of your friends and family to sing and to do karaoke, and you might hit a wrong note. You might sing something and you're like, oh my God, what was that sound that came out of my mouth? But I have to tell you, I've made those mistakes too. Things like that have happened to me too. And I think that by understanding that you're not alone in these fears, understanding that you are not the first person to make a mistake, I think understanding those things can help us put ourselves out there, to step out of our comfort zone. Because if you are constantly waiting to feel ready when it comes to your singing, I gotta tell you, you will never feel ready. Because if you are constantly waiting for that moment when you feel ready to share your voice, you are going to be waiting a very long time, if not forever. Now, the third sneaky way that perfectionism shows up in singing is through mistaking tension for caring. This one is so subtle, and it sounds a lot like, well, I just care a lot. And I just have really high standards for myself. I want to succeed. But underneath those things that you're telling yourself lies this urgency. Your nervous system is on edge. It says, don't mess this up. We have these high standards and we need to achieve them, and to not reach those standards, to not reach that goal, is failure. The body hears that as pressure. And pressure, even if it comes from a caring, loving place, can still contribute to things like tension. So the next time that you catch yourself saying to yourself, well, I just care a lot and I have high standards and I want to accomplish them, I want you to ask yourself what those high standards are for. Do they come from a loving place? And are you okay if you fall short of those high standards? Will you still love yourself and your voice if you don't meet those standards? Or are these things that you're saying to yourself, these things that you're finding yourself believing in, do these things maybe come from a place of pressure and not being okay and perfectionism? All right, so those are the 3 sneaky ways in which perfectionism shows up in singing. If any of this landed for you, if you're finding yourself agreeing and shaking your head as you're listening to me talk, I want you to know that there is nothing wrong with you or your voice. Perfectionism is often a coping technique that we use to survive, to feel safe in our bodies. But your voice doesn't need to be perfect to be meaningful. It needs space to make mistakes. You need space to make mistakes. It needs trust, and it needs you to trust in it. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments which one you are finding yourself identifying with, or share this video with a friend who maybe needs to hear these things. And if you are looking for someone to encourage you on your singing journey, if you want someone who's going to hold you accountable when it comes to things like perfectionism, I would love it if you could join me in my Curious Singer membership. You can find the details on that program in the description. And in the meantime, happy singing, y'all.